This video review is being brought to you by PrimeToys.net. PrimeToys.net, where you can get collector grade toys without the collector grade pricing. PrimeToys.net. And be sure to stick around to the end of this video review, where you can get not one, but 2 codes to use at PrimeToys.net for great discounts. PrimeToys.net. And I'm a reviewer, so let the reviews be joined. Hey guys, your friend Donabot back yet again with another video review. As you can see, we're going to look at the Transformers Titans Returns Wave 2 Deluxe Class Highbrow. We're going to set the figure here out of the way for just a moment so we can look at the packaging. And here we have, of course, Highbrow in his robot mode, vehicle mode, with his little Titan Master Zort. Yeah, I can't get into that name. I'm going to go back to his G1 name of Gort. G-O-R-T instead of X-O-R-T. But in this, it shows that he has 11 steps for his transformation, and that his Titan Master, Gort, as I'm going to refer to him on this because it's a lot easier, it says the gravity disruptors of Gort give Highbrow the power to manipulate gravitational fields. So that is a good addition to Gort, Highbrow, to give him a little bit of a ability with his Titan Master. And as you can see here, we have the other figures from the Wave 2. We have little Titan Master Brawn. We have Chrome Dome, also Deluxe class, the Voyager class Alpha Trion, and the Leader class Soundwave. Pretty cool. Now, one thing I want to note on this is that when we get into fully looking at this, I want to go ahead and show this off for it. But we have the same type of blue paint basically that the figure has. Maybe it might show a little darker in the picture here than what the figure itself is. But the metal paint that he has for his forearms and stuff, and arms, I think does look really good in this image. It more likely is a lot darker from they probably contrasted it or did some editing on it to make it look darker than what it is. But it is still pretty cool. Kind of wish they had done that with the figure, but we'll get into that here more shortly. But let's get the packaging out of the way. Throw it out of the way, and we'll slide Highbrow here back into frame. And Highbrow is basically a type of helicopter. I'm not really sure what type of vehicle it is called or what kind of helicopter it would be, but as you see, it's got the twin blades, and it is really nice looking. It's definitely G1 homage. This is actually only like the second figure, I do believe, aside from third parties, that we've gotten officially been released by Hasbro, aside from the G1. And it looks really, really good. It's a nice G1 homage. You definitely got some dark blue paint, which looks really good on him. I really, really like that. He's got the lighter gray plastic all around for his wings, his blades, and everything. Even got the same type of gray, basically, for the part of the canopy with the red in there. Then that does look really good in my opinion. But it does look really, really good. I think Hasbro definitely took a step up in their efforts to make the Titan Masters look better. Which mine has a little bit of something right there on the windshield, which can probably be wiped off. I also got this dark gray paint back here for the rear rotor, which definitely looks really good. But other than that, it's really cool. It does got some really nice paint design on this. I love the darker metal paint here and here for like the vents and basically like the motor for the rotors here, which makes it look really good as well. But before we get into much more on that, let's go ahead and look at some of his accessories they come with, because they pretty much go with this. He has his guns here. Not one, but 2 of them. And no, your eyes don't deceive you. He does have little pegs there, which these can attach, but we'll get into that more here in a little bit. Needless to say, it does look really good. They got some dark like metal paint definitely over the blue, which does look pretty good. It gives it some really nice detail on this. And really, for these guys to attach him onto Highbrow here in his vehicle mode, he has 4 peg holes. Excuse me, he actually has 6, but he has these up here, which you can attach these up here if you really wanted to. Though it does kind of look kind of corny and weird. Though, don't forget this, because something else is going to come out about that. We take... Actually, let's go ahead and do that since we got it here anyway. We're going to go ahead and link these up just to show this off. You just simply just peg these together like so, and you get this combined form, which looks really good. And I should have shown that off right beforehand, but you can kind of see it in those little pegs in there. Those come into play because what you can do is you take this and you take your Titan Master Gort or Zort here, and you just kind of fold them up like you want to sit them down. You just kind of sit them in there. His little peg holes in his feet are going to peg into those holes, and you just kind of sort them in there. And he can be basically at the controls of this. You can make this like a drone, or because of this little wheel here, maybe a little turret or something on the ground, you know, whatnot. But what you're supposed to do, it actually shows this in the instructions. That little peg hole on each side of this, you're supposed to peg that in there and attach it like so. Yeah, I agree. I'm not feeling that either. It does kind of look corny. I think they mostly did that just because they had the peg hole there or left over from there, because you can do it on either side. Yeah, it kind of does look kind of funky, but it's still something you could do if you really want to. If you wanted to put Gort here, because you can take little Gort or Zort and you basically sit them in here into his pilot seat, which looks really good in there. You just basically just sit them in there. You can close it up. If you want to put another Titan Master in this and plug it in there, it might go okay if you were going to display it like that. But me personally, I'm not going to. But going into that, we're going to flip. Here on the bottom, you have 4 peg holes here, on 2 under each wing, that you can take these, and I want to just detach these again. You take this and you can attach it either way. You can attach it here, which looks okay. It does look alright there. Or you can attach it here, which I'm going to do it like so. And it actually looks way better once you get both of them on there. Attach it on this side as well. And you can see it does look really good that way, especially if you're going to have it like sitting in this type of angle to look at you. The guns do look really good in that design. Plus it makes it more of a artistic look to it for a vehicle, I guess you can say. But definitely looks good. Now the one qualm I have with this in vehicle mode is the blades. If this was a flight vehicle and they were flying like this, as you can see, the blades are going to run in each other, so it would not even get off the ground. It would just, these blades would just destroy each other. But in the G1, he had a little, his blades were actually at an angle, and you can do that with this. All you simply have to do is just unpeg the arms here like you would for transformation, which we'll get into again here in a moment, and you kind of bend it at the ball joint just a little bit there, and you can do the same on this side and get that angle, and there you have it. They can spin there like nobody's business and not run into each other. So I mean, it looks really good, and it definitely gives the G1 look to it more, because this is basically how the G1 figure was. He had his arms at like an angle for vehicle mode, so it gave the clearance for the blades to spin, and it looks really good. As you can see, there's clearance there now, so definitely works for that. Next, we're going to go ahead and unpeg the guns here just to get them out of the way, and we'll go ahead and get Gort out of the way, or Zort out of the way here, and we'll close this back up so we can transform them into vehicle mode. Now we've already kind of got them done this way because you have to move these out for the transformation, but we're going to continue on from here. I'm going to go ahead and rotate these backwards like so. Basically this is basically just getting the blades and the arms up out of the way to get the legs here. To get the legs, all you got to do is basically, like normal, you split them out from the bottom here. And once you get it all the way separated, you will rotate the whole section down like so. Here at the hips, on the hip ratchet joints, down like so, and then you will rotate. I'll flip this over. You rotate right here, around towards the front, like so, and like so, and then right here at the bottom, you will simply just flip these back out, which gives you your heels, the heels for the feet, and then this whole section is just going to slide right back up into his body, and there you have his legs situated, and they look really good. Next, we're going to rotate the forearms back down, and you can bend at the elbow and just go ahead and ratchet out his or flip out his hand like so. Do the same on this side. Flip this hand out like so, and there's his arms. Done. Next, we want to hit the cockpit here. To do so, kind of rotate these around, which I kind of wish they did have something like right here where you can like say you can get them in this position and you can kind of push them down to lock them into place. Heck, it would have been nice if this was a little hinge here, if this could have flipped over and kind of just locked them down like a little clamp just to hold the blades in place. That could have been a nice addition for it, but that's okay. Next, like I said, you just ratchet it, flip this back, and this is a double hinge right here. So you just ratchet it back once, and then you flip it back the rest of the way with the other joint there. And here we have basically him in his robot mode, except for a couple pieces. Right up here, you just simply reach up in here, and you flip this down, which folds this out and gives a nice little look. And this is how the G1 actually had his chest, kind of poked out like that. And if you're in vehicle mode, which I did not show this, if you flip this down, you got this little opening here. You could actually kind of use this like a, I don't know, you can imagine it like a grappling hook flying out of there, or some kind of hyper beam or something like that blasting out of there if you wanted to. But that's a little homage you can do for that, just to use that. Next, you take a little Gort here, which we'll show off real quick. He does have the same blue paint as Highbrow, which it just definitely looks really good. His articulation is the same as all the other Titan Masters, just this little bit of swivel here in his arms. You can't really get it all the way up because of the way the arm is. And he does have the bends there for his legs and knees, his hips and knees, excuse me. He has no feet articulation. He has no separation there for his feet. And he does have his head still on a little bit of a ball joint there, which is really tight. Next, what you want to do is just flip him up, fold this up, locks it into place basically to his head mode, and it's a really nice head sculpt. I'll try to get this in there as best I can. Definitely good head sculpt. I love the darker metal gray paint here, the blue shade for the shape, basically the visor, and the lighter palish blue for his chin and stuff. Definitely looks really good. I do love the head sculpts on these guys. Next, all you gotta do is take this and just peg it right up into his head. Head on, like they say. And here's Highbrow in his head mode. For some reason, I don't know, when I lock him in, it seems like it makes the joint loose. I mean, you can see how loose that is. That's okay, but it might a little bit of tweaking of some nail polish there could probably help it. But that's going to be it for his robot mode and how to transform him. Looks really good. Articulation, again, he's got the ball joint there for his head. Good swivel. You can swivel it all the way around. Definitely works for him. Elbow, he does have the shoulder bend there that you can do that kind of rotation with. It does kind of, as you see, it does kind of bang into his head. You can swivel it all the way around, but you have to watch for these blades to be able to do this, because they will kind of tend to swivel around like that. He does have the swivel here at the elbow and the bend at the elbow. He does have the fold bend for the wrist. No waist swivel, though he does have the sliding feature for his hips if you wanted to work something with that. It looks like it has the joint to swivel, but it doesn't, because of the way the plastic is here for the back and the hip crotch area. It does kind of prevent that, but it does lock in there nice and secure. So he does have the hip ratchets where you can do the side kick. You can swivel it up and down. He does have the swivel there right below that. He does have the knee bend, and he does have the bend here for the heel. So definitely got about the same articulation as any other Deluxe class figure. You can take his guns and of course just peg them into his hands. And it doesn't have the G1 style for these of the basically headmasters having 2 guns. So definitely looks really good, and he come out really well. I'm really very pleased the way these Titan Master Wave 2 guys come out. Definite improvement for Highbrow. He definitely looks really good. It does have a little bit of this little backpack, but you got to put the cockpit somewhere, and it does look fairly good, and it doesn't really weigh him down any, because the heel spurs here do kind of help it out. So, but that being said, guys, that is going to be it for this video review for Titan Returns Highbrow. Do I recommend picking this up? Yes, I do, as Highbrow agrees. He is very cool. I hire him again. Check him out where you can pick him up at. PrimeToys.net. I do not believe has this. If it does, I will have a link below. He may have the link for the Takara version. I'm not positive. I have to double check myself. But if there is, again, I will have a link down below for that. Me personally, I wasn't able to. Actually picked this up from my local Walmarts. Quick story on that. I actually went out a little hunting. Went to one Walmart that's kind of not real far from me, but went to it. Actually picked up Highbrow and Chrome Dome from that Walmart. Went to Toys R Us, picked up a couple figures from there. Then I came back towards closer to home to the Walmart that was nearest to me, and they actually had the other 2 Titan Return Deluxes of Mindwipe and Wolfwire there. So I actually got all 4 of them. Granted, 2 different Walmarts, but I got Autobots from one, Decepticons from another. So that works. But again, you can pick this guy up from there. I highly recommend you do. And if you haven't checked out PrimeToys.net, I highly recommend you do now, because I'm going to give you one of 2 codes you can use at PrimeToys.net at checkout. The first code is really popular this month because it only is going to be valid till the end of this month of September. And for that, when you go to checkout, any product you find on PrimeToys.net, whether it's Transformers, whether it's anything that he has in stock, you type in the code Transmissions30, and that's 30 with a 3 and a 0, and you'll get 30% off your order. It's like a big clearance sale he's got. He's trying to basically clear out his inventory. So I highly recommend you checking it out and using that code. Otherwise, you can use the code Transmissions, and you can get 10% off your order. So either code you can use is just as good, only you cannot use both codes at the same time. But so that you can't go on there and say, hey, let's use the Transmissions 30 code. Oh cool, I got 30% off. Let's go ahead and use the other one and get the other 10% off. It won't let you do that. But that being said, guys, that's still something you kind of wish you could do, like if anything, where you can use any coupon, where you can go to any website, use 3 or 4 different codes and get like 50% off of your order or whatever, but you can only use one at a time on that. But that being said, guys, please like, comment, and share this video. If you haven't done so, please subscribe. Again, check out the PrimeToys.net website for collector grade toys without the collector pricing. And use one of the 2 codes I gave you. And don't forget to also check out the Transmissions podcast, which were also sponsored by Prime Toys. And if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have those codes. So be sure to check those out, and be sure to stay tuned for my next video review, where I'm going to look at Titan Returns Deluxe Class Wave 2 Mindwipe. So hopefully you'll stick around and we'll check that one out. But this is Don saying, once again, thanks for watching, and I hope to hear from you soon.